Hello and welcome to this video brought to you by the Lewis Art. My name is Emmanuel Okafo, and in this tutorial I'm going to go in depth on how to rig with the Pupa Addon. Pupa Addon is an animation solution add-on for Blender that allows you quickly rig your characters and apply lots of preset animation. And if you want to check it out, the link will be in the description, where you will find full documentation of all the features and demo videos of what this entails. In this particular video, we'll be looking at rigging this character, so everything you need to know about the rigging phase of this add-on. We'll be using this asset which I created, and the whole making process is live on YouTube, and you can just check the video in one of my in this channel and you'll be able to locate it. Okay, so once you've installed the add-on, and the process is just pretty standard, you go to preference, install, and then you can select the two available add-ons, which are the Pupa add-on and the BVH retargeter. And another add-on you need to enable is the Rigify add-on. You need to enable this add-on because the engine driving the rig is Rigify add-on, which comes with every Blender download. So this is already there by default. You just need to enable it. So we'll go ahead to rig this character. By the way, this character is good beginning out for free. The link will be in the description too. So if you want to grab a copy of this character with all the textures and everything, so you have a very nice starting point that will be available to you. Okay, so let's go ahead and start. I am just going to reduce this multi-resolution to 1 and probably turn it off, and just add a regular old subdivision surface. Okay, so let's see what this character entails. We have the scarf, so we can hide that. We have the jacket, we have the zipper, and we have the pants, we have the body, we have the shoes. So this it's going to be a fun exercise to use the Pupa add-on to bind it. So what we want to do first is to select the objects. You can box select this by hitting B and go to object and apply rotation and scale and origin to geometry. This is usually a very nice practice, so that anytime you're rigging or applying simulation, this enables Blender to work with the most accurate or most updated information about the geometry. So once you have that all set, and if you have a collection here, so we could quickly just select all of these, create a new collection, and call this Guru. And we can select this and just drag all of this into this collection and collapse it. Okay, so we have created a new collection. So now if we go assign objects, we have the ability to select from this collection we've created, or even though if in a situation where we don't have any collection, you still have the ability to actually just type in the name Guru, and then all the selected object will be automatically added to a newly created collection for you. Okay, so for the next one we have use or not use finger. This is basically telling you, do you want a rig with fingers, or do you want a rig without fingers? So depending on what you want, everything is available. So for this particular tutorial we'll be using the fingers. Also, this is like for the controllers. If you want to see the names, I'm kind of showing you how to move around or use it. You can enable this or anything you want. So once you're okay, you can hit OK. So like once we did assign objects, so something like this happens. This might be a bug from Blender or just like any multiple reasons, but it works. So a way to fix this is hit assign object and just create a new collection. So we could call this Guru. It doesn't happen more often. This I'm using an experimental branch of Blender 2.92. But so we can just write a name. So let's call this Guru. 2 and use fingers and hit OK. So as you can see, it's going to generate it. So that's the solution for that. And we can enable the snapping tool, switch this to volume, and now we can just select each of these points and apply it appropriately. So just for more precision, I'm going to hide the scarf, and now we can just place each of these points, and this is going to be snapped directly in the center of the set geometry. So we can move this. This is the shoulder, this is the elbow, and this is the hand. So this is a very nice reference to follow along. So we can place this here. So we'll leave the fingers for now and deal with it later. For this, we'll just move this into place. You still have the ability to edit this later. This particular one is just to be placed at the heel. It's kind of like for the leg rig, so you just place it there. We'll select this too, rotate it 90 degrees, and we'll place it. Okay, and then finally we select this too, rotate this and place it. This is for the factorial muscle, so leave that there. Okay, so now for the fingers, all you just need to do is select it, rotate X 90 degrees, rotate it, and you want to just align it first to kind of match the rotation of the hands. Okay, so once you've done that, you can enable your snapping and just click and just move it to place. Gets tricky when there are multiple objects, so just turn this off for now. Okay, so do for this. So it's just putting into place. This usually should not take, should just take few seconds. And it doesn't really need to be so precise because you have the ability, which is very advised when working with fingers, to be able to preview the bone and make sure the fingers are placed in the right pivot point and have the right scale and everything you might need. Okay, so once you're once you're done placing all the points, you can go ahead and select the preview meta rig and hit OK. Okay, so this is what it gives us, which it did a good job kind of generating it, but we need it to be better. So you can always undo that and reposition each of these, and it adjusts the meta rig once you hit generate. So we can go to bind preview meta rig, and also note that you can actually go ahead and just select one of this binding method and bind it just as it is, and it's all good. But if you want more precision, you preview the meta rig and it generates. So you can adjust this as needed. Now once you have this meta rig looking the way you like, by based off the default generation, you can then go in and kind of place it more depending on how much where you want the shoulders to be positioned. You can edit that. A fast way to do that is once you edit one point, you can do Shift S, cursor to selected, selection to cursor. But and I think you can access this here, or probably snapping, selection to cursor, cursor to selected. So any of this. You can delete the pectoral muscle or the breast muscle if you don't need that. So I'm just gonna hide this jacket for now to kind of get this position correct, and then cursor to selected, selected to cursor, so it's aligned. Also for the hips, and make sure it's positioned nicely. And finally for the head, since the neck is unique, so let's just make sure it's placed correctly. Okay, great. Let's just fix the shoulder slightly. So at this point, once you're happy, you can move on. Let's do the finger, and then we'll move on, because I'll just hide all of these so I can see what I'm doing. So I will just reposition this. Let's place nicely. I will adjust the bones. The great thing is like all this stuff are easily accessed in Blender. So once you just set up your rig, no matter how complex or detailed you want it to be, you're all good to go. So just adjust this some more. Okay, so it's looking decent, and we can move ahead from here. By the way, before we move forward, this particular feature of previewing the bone allows you to rig asymmetric characters. So if your character hand is kind of positioned differently, like maybe this hand is in this direction, or if the character is already posed a certain way, you can use this particular preview rig to kind of pose it into place, and then you generate the rig and bind it, and everything just works as expected. Okay, so one way, and importantly, you have to turn off the symmetry, of course. So in the bone edit mode, you go to tool, turn off the X symmetry, so it allows you to edit um, different sides. So you can really have full control of troubleshooting and making sure the rig is generated to your liking. And even though if accuracy is not your worry so much, you can actually just go ahead and bind it. We turn on the X mirror, and we still able to move this around. So once you're happy, um, we can actually go ahead and start binding. So for the binding process, we could actually just go ahead and check the preview. You want to have your meta rig selected, so the software know what it's working with. Then you can uncheck the preview meta rig, select a binding method. We have two binding methods, which is the automatic and the voxel binding. So for the automatic weight, we can just hit OK, and it goes ahead and binds it and generates the rig. So it's just calculating everything. The automatic weight is pretty fast, so a couple of minutes you get your rig. So we have our rig, and it should work as expected. Um, just turn off. I think I have a lot of things taking my processing power. Okay, so if we move this rig, you can see it works. I mean, it deforms the character, but it's not really perfect. There are a lot of hurdles. Like if you have like a very simple asset with shirt and pants and just little stuff. I mean, for this we have like a zipper, which is definitely a complex thing to bind. You have like a scarf going in, you have like a pant going in. So like there's a lot of expectation for the results to be very varied, and this is not just a problem being generated from the add-on. Is just like a given problem, especially when you're using the automatic weight. So that's why we came up with different solutions for stuff like this, so that you can be able to rig your characters in matters of minutes. And we have several techniques that makes this possible. Okay. So same thing, you can actually switch to the voxel and play with the density to get the best result. For like very detailed models like this that you have zipper and fingers, you want to be able to go to a very low voxel count like zero point 0.1, zero point 0.08. That's pretty good. So we could try and let's see the result we get from that 0.08. So we're done binding it, and if we see from the result, you will see we get a more better result compared to the previous one. That we're getting some things that we might need to fix. Yeah, but overall we get better deformation, better binding, especially with a more complex asset like this. And you see the zipper deforming quite well compared to the previous version. But with this, you could get a very high quality results just using this particular method, but it's quite slow and it can take a very long time because it's going to calculate the entire geometry to get a very accurate bind. But that's why we have a hybrid using the speed of the first technique and the precision of this particular technique to get the best results. So I'm going to be showing you now. So for us to tackle as an asset like this, what we want to do is kind of hide this scarf and just things that we can worry about later. Okay, we can even hide the pants. So we can just focus on the structure of the character, and for the structure, I will need to hide this. Okay, so for the structure, we just need the body, so we'll probably go ahead and hide the zipper. So what we're left with is just the shoe and the body and the eyes and the brows. And you'll notice if for the shoes there's no fit, that's why I'm actually leaving the shoe in. So what we want to do now is use the automatic way to bind this and use this transfer weight feature to transfer all the weight which we are happy with onto the other assets. So basically how this works is we can select all the visible asset that we want to rig. So we have the eyes, the brows, the body, and the shoe. Okay, and we can go to bind character and check on selected objects. So what this basically does is it creates a new collection called selected objects. Okay, and then you can select the rig again and go ahead and bind. But this time we'll choose automatic weight. You could go with voxel, but because of the speed of automatic weight and this particular model is less complex because of we kind of just isolating this particular object, so we can use the automatic way and to do a decent job with that. So we can hit OK. So in a matter of seconds it binds this character, and as you can see we have a much better bind with this process. Okay, so this is much more reliable because you're building it from the ground up. Okay, and you also have the ability to select the rig, click on weight paint, and then you see the particular bones you need to paint on. So you can select the bone, select the character, go into weight paint, and then you can go in and paint in the weights which you want to influence these areas. So let's do for the head. We'll just go into edit mode, select the head section, go to our vertex data, hit assign. So it has a lot of influence there. We'll select the neck bone and remove all the head influence there and go to weight and hit smooth. So we have a nice transition. So I'll repeat that for the head too. So smooth. Also do that for this neck region. So let's make sure we have enough influence for the neck. So assign smooth, repeat it for this one. Assign smooth. Okay, so that's just that. So we can go back, select the rig, uncheck weight paint, and then we have our rig setup. Okay, so once you're happy, you can just go ahead and unhide the objects. So let's build it from the ground up. Let's start with the shirt and the pants. So you can just select the jacket and the pants. Okay, shift select the rig. Okay, and then shift select the object that we already satisfied with and hit transfer weight, and it transfers the weight to it. So now we can see what's happening, and it's probably interacting so much with this asset. So we could like adjust it so it's not so close, but we could easily fix this. So select this weight paint. Since this geometry is very topologically um, okay, so it's easy to fix stuff like this. So we want to select um, this point and remove it. I mean, this would not be the case for your own assets because definitely it will be less complex than this. So remove that, and that fixes it. Actually, probably just needed to remove just that influence and not the entire stuff. So remove, remove. Okay, and then we'll probably paint this in. So it's easy for you to fix it. Uh, you can enable the bone preview, remove that, and that fixes that. Um, for this, we add more influence. So that's all good. So we'll not go really in depth in cleaning. It's just kind of reducing the weights each of it have, um, and then you'll be good. So right now we kind of have. Uh, so now we have everything set. We can clear the rotation and scale. Okay, so now we can do the rest of the assets. So it's as easy as selecting the zipper or all the necessary assets. Shift select the rig, shift select the body or even the jacket. Anyway, so let's just select the body, transfer weight, and it just does everything for you. And this works for even non-Pupa generated rig. Like if you have your own object, you can make this work. As you can see, we have a very nice bind through this process. So let me turn off the subdivisions where we get better interaction. So as you can see, we have a very nice descent bind that you can work on and kind of clean on to get a more nice looking stuff. So let's try to fix some of this. Enable weight paint, select the problematic area. I mean, in most of instance, you'll not be really experiencing this. This geometry is a bit complex with the amount of objects. Um, so so that's why like the bind was a bit tricky, but it's just little fix that you need. Okay, so we have that us figured out now, and we can go back, select the bone, uncheck weight paint. So that's it. And once you're happy, you can just go ahead and choose from your animation library. And note that this method of generating the rig is not just limited to this method. You can actually use the normal rigify method to generate the rig, and then you can actually use any animation from here. So let's just select a random animation. We could choose from the preview. Let's make go to catwalk. So apply animation. So we can see the animation work. So I'm going to do a next tutorial on working with the animation tools on getting the best possible result from it. So you have access to any animation you so please, and you have more awesome tools for customization. So a copy of this add-on will be in the description. At the moment, there's no free version, but there's plans for it. Even though it will be limited um, with what it can do, but I'll just put it out there so you can please have some access to be able to rig with it, or just do some little tasks with it. So if you want to check this add-on out for yourself, the link will be in the description. So thank you so much for watching this video. If you wish to see more from me, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. I'm going to try to post as regular as possible on like a lot of projects I've been working on. So thank you so much for checking this out. Bye bye for now. See you next time.